Very good morning to all of you guys. Welcome back. Sorry, I couldn't take the session on Sunday as I was stuck into something. So let's start with altogether a new chapter that is joint and byproduct. I hope you guys are thorough with the concept of process costing. Further, I expect that you guys have solved all the questions of process costing of study material and past practice manual. So now let's start with a new chapter that is joint and byproduct. So now, when talking about this chapter is in continuation of the chapter what we have already discussed, that is process costing. So this chapter is in continuation of the chapter what we have discussed, that is process costing. Now, what is the difference? हम लोग नया क्या पढ़ने वाले हैं? So in process costing, what we used to do, हम लोग process में inputs करते थे. Thereafter, some conversion cost was incurred, and we were getting an output, and that output was transferred to the next process. Now, further, when talking about the cost of the output, it was very easy for us to calculate because we were manufacturing only one product and that was transferred to the next process. So whatever the cost that is incurred in a process belongs to that product only. I repeat again, when talking about process costing, we were making inputs into a particular process, and after the necessary conversion cost, we were getting a product as an output. We were getting only one product as an output. So it was very easy for us to calculate the cost of that product because whatever the cost that is incurred in that process, belongs to that product only. So it was very easy for us to calculate the total cost of that product. But my point is, what if from a particular process, if two or more than two products emerge out? अब तक जो हमने डिस्कस किया इसमें हम लोग एक ही प्रोडक्ट का आउटपुट मिलता था. But what if in case, if from a particular process, if two or more than two products emerge out, how to distribute the cost, how to calculate the cost of these two products? This is all what exercise we'll be discussing in this chapter, joint and byproduct. Very good morning, everyone. So, herein, in this chapter, we'll be discussing 2 points, that is joint product and byproduct. When talking about joint product, if from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, all having significant value, all are of equal importance, then we can say that these are joint products. So when talking about joint product, when from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, when from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out and all having significant value, or products are of equal importance, then we can say it is a joint product. When from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, all having equal importance or significant value, then these products are known as joint product. Let me discuss this with the help of an example. Let's say I'm into business of processing of crude oil. Now, from this crude oil, let's say three products emerge out: petrol, diesel, and let's say natural gas. So these three products are known as the joint product of my inputs, that is crude oil. I repeat again, guys. Very good morning, Gautam. I repeat again, guys, when from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, all having equal importance or significant value, then these products are known as joint product. So when talking about the example of joint product, after processing crude oil, if we are getting petrol, diesel, natural gas, all these products have more or less similar value and they all are of equal importance. So these are known as joint product. Now, when talking about the next point, that is byproduct, this product we don't want to manufacture. This byproduct we don't want to manufacture, but ये अपने आप manufacture होता है. So what is byproduct? One second, guys. So when talking about byproduct, this product we don't want to manufacture. ये अपने आप manufacture होता है. So what is byproduct? It is an incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacture of main product. What is byproduct? Incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacture of main product. What is byproduct? It's an incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacture of main product. When talking about example, we can say molasses is manufactured during the course of manufacture of sugar. What is the example? So molasses manufactured during the course of manufacture of sugar. So when talking about the example of byproduct, the example is molasses that is manufactured during the course of manufacture of sugar. The next example we can say, let's say we are the manufacturer of butter. During the course of manufacture of butter, let's say buttermilk is manufactured. So this buttermilk is what we call as the byproduct, and butter or ghee we can say is the main product. If you guys have any doubts in this part, that is what is joint product, what is byproduct, you guys can please post your queries. I repeat again for the students who have joined a bit late, we have started with a new chapter that is joint and byproduct. This chapter is in continuation of the chapter what we have discussed, that is process costing. The major difference between the joint byproduct and process costing is like from a particular process, if we are getting only one product as an output, we were applying process costing. But yes, if from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, how to calculate the cost of these two products, how to distribute the process cost among these two products, that all we'll be discussing in this chapter. There are 2 points, joint product and byproduct. So when talking about, ghee is the main product and buttermilk is the byproduct. So when talking about joint product, when from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, all having significant value or all are of equal importance, then we can say these are the joint product. When talking about the example of joint product, petrol, diesel, and natural gas, that what we are getting from crude oil. So these are joint product. When talking about byproduct, it's an incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacture of main product. Let's say molasses in manufacturing sugar, buttermilk in manufacturing ghee. So if you guys have any doubts, any queries, Byproduct, main product is the joint product. Yes, Noor Jamila. Gayatri, I've already explained this point again. So I request you guys to please copy this part. Sudhanshu, ghee is the main product. I hope your query is resolved, Gayatri. So as I told you guys, the major exercise, the major motto of this chapter is to distribute the cost of a process among two or more than two products. So now let's start with the point that how to distribute the cost. Let's say I'm a manufacturer, and further I have introduced some raw material in process first. Further, the additional expenses are incurred, let's say labor and all the indirect expenses. Now, after completion of process first, let's say we are getting two products as an output, product A and product B. Now, let's say product A is further processed in process second, wherein additional material cost, labor cost, and other indirect expenses are incurred. Further again, product B is further processed into process third, wherein further separate set of costs are incurred. And the final output of process second is product AA and product AA. So, Manish sir, the board is visible? Okay. Ishan, I request you to please refresh your internet connection. So guys, we are the manufacturer and my final product is product B and product AA. Our motto is to manufacture product AA and B. And during the course of manufacture of AA and B, two intermediate products are also manufactured, that is product A and product B. Now, we have to calculate the total cost of product AA and product B. Now, whatever the cost that is incurred in process second belongs to AA. Whatever the cost that is incurred in process third belongs to AA. But is this the total cost? No, this is not the total cost. Because what about the cost of process first? So the point is, to calculate the total cost of AA and BB, we have to distribute the cost of process first. So now and onwards, our major exercise will be what to distribute the cost of process first. So distribution of joint cost. Now, when talking about the term that I have used is joint cost. So the question is, what is joint cost? So herein in this example, the cost of process first is what we call as the joint cost. So further we can call it that this point wherein two products emerge out, product A and product B. This is what we call as the point of separation or split off point. So the cost of process first is we call as the joint cost. When talking about joint cost, what is joint cost? The cost incurred before the point of separation. This is the point of separation. So whatever the cost incurred before the point of separation is what we call as joint cost. So the cost incurred before the point of separation or we can say split off point is joint cost. What is joint cost? The cost incurred before the point of separation. So this is the point of separation. Or we can say split off point. So this point is known as the split off point, and whatever the cost that is incurred before split off point is we call as the joint cost. Further, one more term I want to discuss this term I'll be using throughout the chapter. That is the further processing cost. Further processing cost. Now, what is further processing cost? The cost incurred after the point of separation is what we call as further processing cost. What is further processing cost? Herein in this example, the cost of process second. The cost of process second is the further processing cost of product AA, and the cost of process third is the further processing cost of product BB. So when talking about the further processing cost, the cost incurred after the point of separation. The cost incurred after the point of separation is what we call as further processing cost. If you guys have any doubts, then you guys can please post your query. I've discussed 3 points. First point is joint cost. Herein in this example, the cost of process first is my joint cost. So the cost incurred before the point of separation or split off point is joint cost. This is the point of separation or split off point. When talking about the next term, what I have discussed is further processing cost. That is the cost incurred after the point of separation is what we call as further processing cost. So herein in the cost of process second and process third is what we call as the further processing cost. If you guys have any doubts, then you guys can please post your query. Further, I request you guys to please copy this explanation. Yes, Sudhanshu, Arunima, Mr. Gautam, Darshan, Bhumika, any doubts? Ishan? Darshan, no, your statement is incorrect. These two products, that is product double A and double B, are our final product. But during the course of manufacture of double A and double B, these two intermediate products we do manufacture. So these are two intermediate products to manufacture final product, that is double A and double B, or final output is double A and double B. So these are our final output, and during the course of manufacture of this final output, these two intermediate products are generated. So these are not the byproduct. Again, these are the intermediate products. I'll be discussing this part separately, Sudhanshu. This concept is altogether different. I mean, co-product and byproduct are different. I'll be discussing this part separately. Arunima, when talking about the joint cost incurred before the point of separation or split of point is my joint cost. So herein, in this example, the cost of process first is my joint cost. So let's say I'm the manufacturer of shirts. So let's say I do process cotton to manufacture my final product, that is shirt. Now cotton is converted into thread. So this thread is what my product A. And from thread, let's say fabric is manufactured, and from fabric the shirt is manufactured. So my shirt is my final product. But to manufacture a shirt, we need fabric. So to manufacture a fabric, we need thread. So let's say this product A and product B are thread, not the byproduct. So I hope your query is resolved, Darshan. So product double A and double B are my final product, and during the course of manufacture of double A and double B, two intermediate products are generated that are further processed to get our final output. So these two products, that is A and B, are not our byproduct, but they are my intermediate product. Yes, Diksha. Darshan, hopefully your query is resolved. The product, the A and B are not our byproduct, but they are the intermediate product. Yes, Darshan. Kiran Shukla, any doubts? Bhumika? So now let's start with the main exercise that all what we'll be doing in this chapter, that is distribution of joint cost. That is how joint cost is to be distributed. Now, when talking about the approach, how to distribute the joint cost, so the best approach is to distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split of point. I repeat again, the best approach, if the question is silent, the best approach to distribute the joint cost is what? Market value of these two products, that is these two products A and B. That is the market value at split of point. So, the best approach to distribute the joint cost is what? Market value at split of. Now, assuming these two products are marketable, even though we are not selling these two products, let's say some of the companies are selling these products A and B. So if the market value of product A and B is available, then the best approach of distribution of joint cost is that to distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split of point. I repeat again. Yes, Noor Jamila. I repeat again, even though we are not selling product A and B, however, there are some companies who are selling product A and B. So the market value is readily available for product A and B. So the best approach to distribute the joint cost is what? To distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split of point. So अगर market value A or B का हमारे पास है, even though we are not selling A and B, but there are some companies who are selling A and B. So the market value, if it is readily available, distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value of at split of point. So let me discuss this with the help of an example. Let's say my joint cost, that is the cost of, let's say my process first is 64,500. Now, let's say 200 units of A are manufactured and 200 units of B was manufactured. These were further processed in process second and process third to get my final product, that is double A and double B. Now, product A can be sold in the market at the rate 170. Let's say product A can be sold in the market at the rate 170. And let's say product B can be sold in the market at the rate 260. So herein in this question, the market value of product A and B is available with us. So herein we will distribute the joint cost as 64,500 is my joint cost. When talking about the market value, 200 into 170, that is 34,000. And 200 into 260, that is 52,000. So this joint cost of 64,500, this is what we call as the market value. This is what we call as the market value at split of point. So herein the market value is available at split of point. This is the split of point. So the market value is available. So my joint cost of 64,500 will be distributed in the ratio of 34:52. So the cost that is distributed is how much? 1 second, guys. So 64,500. So this is how the joint cost is to be distributed to calculate the total cost. If you guys have any doubts, that is how to distribute the joint cost, you guys can please post your query. I repeat again, guys, if the market value at split of point is available, then the best approach is to distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split of point. If you guys have any doubts, very good, Ms. Guduri, very good, Sudhanshu. Yes, Noor Jamila, I'm just discussing this part practically that kab kaun sa method apply karna hai if the question is silent. So waiting for your queries on this method. No, it's not necessary, Noor Jamila. Let's say if 300 units are manufactured and are sold at 170 and 200 units are manufactured that are at 260. So units can be different, the selling price can be different. It's just an illustration, Miss Jamila. Hopefully your query is resolved. Anyone else having any doubts? Arunima, any doubts? Yes, because the quantity is same. Let's take one more example. I request you guys to please copy this part. Let's say from this process first, two products emerge out, product A and B. Let's say when talking about the quantity of A, 300 units were manufactured of product A and let's say 200 units were manufactured of product B. Further, when talking about the market value, this can be sold at the rate rupees 50 per unit. And let's say this can be sold at the rate 100 per unit. Now, when talking about the joint cost, that is the cost of process first. Let's say the cost of process first is 1,40,000. Now we want to distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split of point. So my joint cost is 1,40,000. It is to be distributed among A and B in the ratio of 3 5s of 15, that is 15,000 is to 20,000. So the cost that is after distribution will be I hope this part is clear to all. Herein, neither the units is same, so nor that the joint cost was distributed in the ratio of selling price. So herein, again, when talking about this example, my joint cost is 1,40,000. Two products emerge out, product A and product B. So product A can be sold at the rate rupees 50 per unit and B can be sold at the rate 100 per unit. So herein, the ratio of distribution will be 15,000 is to 20,000. That is the market value at split of point. So this is how the joint cost will be distributed. If you guys have any doubts, then you guys can please post your query. Very good, Kavita. Very good, Diksha. So Harshita, hopefully your query is resolved. Then Miss Noor Jamila, hopefully your query is resolved. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. Waiting for your queries, guys. Harshita and Noor Jamila, specifically to address your queries, I have taken one more example. So I hope this part is clear to you. Yes, Harshita. So this is all what about the first method, that is market value at split of point. Which formula you are talking about, Bhumika? So now this is the best way to distribute the joint cost when if the question is silent. So the market value at split of point is the best approach. Now, I'll be covering this part also. Let me complete the explanation. Now, when talking about this method, the market value at split of point was available. Now, let's take a situation wherein if the market value of product A and B is not available, these products are not marketable. Now, hum log sell kar rahe hain, and nowhere in this world these products can be sold. So the point is how to distribute the joint cost. I repeat again, guys. Let's say if the market value of these two intermediate products is not available, neither we are selling nor anyone in this world is selling this product A and B. These products A and B are not marketable. Now the point is how to distribute the joint cost. So herein we will calculate the dummy market value of product A and B. So if the market value of product A and B is not available, what we will do, we'll calculate the dummy market value. So herein The next method, we call it as the net realizable value method. We will calculate the net realizable value of product A and B. Now the point is how to calculate the net realizable value. Let's say we are manufacturing two product A and B. We'll take the selling price of double A and double B. We'll take the selling price of double A and double B. Selling price of double A and double B. In this, whatever the selling cost that is incurred to sell these product double A and double B will be deducted. So minus selling expenses, if any. Further, we will deduct the cost of process second and process third. That is what we call as the further processing cost. So the value as calculated will be what? My net realizable value of product A and B. So if the market value of product A and B is not available, we'll calculate the dummy market value with reverse calculation. कि product double A और double B को sell करने पे कितना realize होता है, minus the extra selling expenses that are incurred, minus the further processing cost that is incurred to manufacture double A and double B. If we deduct all these points, then we'll be getting the net realizable value of product A and B. So the joint cost can be distributed in this ratio. Let me discuss this with the help of an example. There is a query from Dikshita sir, when joint product in process first, that does not transfer to the next process. So if it is sold, then it's perfectly fine. So we'll distribute the joint cost. So Dikshita will distribute the joint cost in the ratio of market value at split off point or net realizable value or as per the instructions that are given in the question. Yes, Darshan, this net realizable value method will apply when the market value of product A and B is not available. So we calculate the dummy market value of A and B. So how to calculate the dummy market value? The selling price of double A and double B minus the selling expenses minus the further processing cost will get the net realizable value of product A and B. So let me discuss this with the help of an example. I request you guys to please copy this part. I request you guys to please copy this part. Now, let's take an example wherein let's say 200 units of 200 units were manufactured of product AA and 200 units were manufactured for product BB. Again, the market value of A and B is not available. Now, these 200 units can be sold in the market at the rate 170 per unit and at the rate 260 per unit. Further, the processing cost of process first is 4,000. The processing cost of process first is, let's say, 4,000 rupees. And the processing cost of process third is, let's say, 32,000 rupees. This is the further processing cost. When talking about the joint cost, let's say my joint cost is 64,500. This is what the market value of A and B is not available. The market value of final product AA and BB is available, wherein 200 units were manufactured of product AA that can be sold at the rate 170. Further, 200 units of BB was manufactured that can be sold at the rate 260. The further processing cost that is incurred in process second and third is, let's say, 4,000 and 32,000. Now the point is how to distribute the joint cost. So we'll first calculate the net realizable value. So calculation of net realizable value. So selling price of my final product, that is 200 into 170, that is 34,000. 200 into 260, that is 52,000. Minus my further processing cost. $4,000 and $32,000. Will get the dummy market value of A and B, that is 30,000 and 20,000. So my joint cost of 64,500 rupees, it is to be distributed among these two products, that is A and B, in the ratio of 3:2. So 64,500 into 3/5 and 64,500 into 2/5. That is so this is how the joint cost is to be distributed in the ratio of in the ratio of net realizable value. This method is to be applied only when the market value at split off point is not available. Very good, Miss Muhatia. I'm not getting what you are asking, Vaishali. Sir, net realization value of product A and B cost is more or less than process one total cost. I'm not getting what you are saying, Vaishali. We are just calculating the ratio, that is in what ratio the cost is to be distributed. Very good, Bhumika. Anyone having any doubts, queries? I request you guys to please post your queries if you guys have any doubts. Dikshita, can you please repost your query? I'm not getting what you are asking. Darshan, here we are unable to determine the market value of product at any inter. So this method is to be applied when the market value of product A and B is not available. Then we will calculate the dummy market value of A and B. Yes, anyone having any doubts, queries? I request you guys to please post your queries. Yes, Darshan. Krishna, hopefully your query is resolved. When talking about the distribution in the ratio of 3:2, so the total of 3 and 2 is 5. So 64,500 into 3 by 5, 64,500 into 2 by 5. Sahana, sir, please explain once again. So Sahana, if the market value of product A and B is available, then distribute the joint cost in the ratio of the market value at split of point. But if market value is not available, we'll calculate the dummy market value. That is, we will calculate the net realizable value. When talking about how to calculate net realizable value, we'll take the selling price of these two products, that is final product, minus if any selling expenses are given, then we will deduct. Thereafter, if any further processing cost is given, then we will deduct. And the value that is what we are getting is what we call as the net realizable value, and my joint cost will be distributed in that ratio. So let me give you a question, guys. So herein the selling price of these two products is given. That is for double A and double B, that is rupees 20 per unit and 50 per unit. Further, the units manufactured of double A is 3,000 and of double B is 2,000. The selling expenses that are incurred to sell product double A and double B is 5,000 and 2,000 respectively. Further processing cost incurred for double A and double B is 15,000 and 18,000. And my joint cost is 3 lakh rupees. You guys have to distribute the joint cost. When talking about the selling expenses, it is 5,000 and 2,000. So waiting for your answers, guys. Very good, Kavita. Your answer is correct. Yes, Dikshita, waiting for your answer. So here in Noor Jamila, very good. Your answer is correct. Yes, Darshan, your answer is correct. So I've got correct answer from Kavita, Noor Jamila, and Darshan. Yes, Sahana, waiting for your answer. Sudhanshu, your answer is correct. Rushita, your answer is correct. Miss Mohitia, your answer is correct. Yes, Bhumika. Yes, Acha, Rushita, I've got your answer. So yes, Bhumika, Krishna, Vaishali, Arya, Dikshita, Harshita. Yes, Krishna, waiting for your answers, guys. Very good, Harshita. Your answer is correct. Still, I'm waiting for your answers, guys. Sahana. I request you guys to please post your answers, how this joint cost is to be distributed. Yes, Vaishali, your answer is correct. Yes, Bhumika, Arunima, waiting for your answer. Dikshita, Sahana, Miss Guduri, yes, your answer is correct. Bhumika, your answer is incorrect, my dear. So herein, when talking about the solution of this question, double A and double B, we will calculate the we'll calculate the net realizable value. When talking about the sales, it is given 3,000 into 20, that is 60,000 and 1 lakh. Further minus, we will do deduct selling expenses. My selling expenses are 5,000 and 2,000 respectively. My further processing cost is 15,000 and 18,000. So the final figure what we'll be getting is 40,000 and 80,000. So 1 lakh, that is my joint cost, is how much? 3 lakh is to be distributed in the ratio of 4:8. So this will be 1 lakh and this will be 2 lakh. This is how the joint cost is to be distributed. Dhruti, incorrect answer. Dikshita, Ishan, please check your answer. I request you guys to please copy the solution. Ishan, your answer is incorrect. Dhruti, please recheck your answer, my dear. Bhumika, I'm surprised you're not able to answer this. Ishan, again, I don't know how come you got this answer. So I repeat again, when talking about if the market value at split of point is not available, we'll calculate the net realizable value. When talking about net realizable value, sales minus selling expenses minus further processing cost. So this is what we call as the net realizable value. And my joint cost of 3 lakh is to be distributed in the ratio of this net realizable value. So 4:8, that is, we call it as 1:2. So 3 lakh is to be distributed in the ratio of 1:2. Yes, Ishan, again, क्या mistake हुआ आपसे? Your answer was incorrect. Dhruti, again, your answer was incorrect. Very good. No worries, Ishan. Very good, Miss Singh Rajiv Kumar. Yes, Dikshita, if selling expenses are not given, then we'll take only the further processing cost. Okay, Vishali sir, final product price is include every process cost, but why sell value is less the cost? I'm not getting, Vishali, what you are asking. So now let's proceed further. So if the market value at split of point is available, then the joint cost is to be distributed in the ratio of market value at split of point. If it is not available, we'll calculate the dummy market value. That is what we call as the net realizable value. Now, let's take a situation wherein, let's say in question only, if the selling price of this product is not available. Or let's take a situation wherein the further processing cost is not given in the question. So my point is very simple, guys. What if in case the information is not available, some information is missing in the question, and we cannot calculate the net realizable value? I repeat again, guys, question में कुछ information missing है, and that is the reason हम लोग net realizable value calculate ही नहीं कर सकते. Now the point is how to distribute the joint cost. So herein, if this method we are not able to apply, then we'll distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. We'll distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. So let's say my joint cost of this process is, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, and the units manufactured for product A is 300 units, and for product B it is 200 units. Further in question, further processing cost or market value, some information is missing. So herein, this is the easiest method wherein we distribute the joint cost of 1 lakh in the ratio of physical units of A and B, that is 3:2. So the joint cost as distributed will be 60,000 and 40,000. So wherein अगर हम लोग net realizable value calculate ही नहीं कर सकते because some information is missing in the question, then we'll distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. If you guys have any doubts, then you guys can please post your query. No, Sudhanshu. So the best approach is market value at the point of separation. If not, then calculate net realizable value and distribute the joint cost. But if some information is missing in the question and we are not able to calculate the net realizable value, then we will distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. Now, the next method is contribution margin method. Now, when talking about this method, let's say if some information is given in the question as regards variable cost and fixed cost. I repeat again, if any information is given in the question as regards variable cost and fixed cost, then we will apply this contribution margin method. So let's say if in a particular question information is given that this much is the variable cost and this much is the fixed cost, and this is the total joint cost. If some information is given in the question, yes, Ms. Noor Jamila, if some information is given in the question as regards variable cost and fixed cost and total joint cost, then how to distribute joint cost? We'll distribute the joint cost in two parts. When talking about variable cost, it is to be distributed in the ratio of physical units. And when talking about fixed cost, it is to be distributed in the ratio of contribution. Further, when talking about contribution, it is sales minus variable. When talking about contribution, it is sales minus variable cost. I'll be discussing this with the help of an example. I request you guys to please copy this explanation, wherein if the joint cost information that is given in the question is that is some amount is given as regards variable cost, further fixed cost is given separately. So herein we will apply contribution margin method, wherein the variable cost is to be distributed in the ratio of physical units and fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of contribution as calculated. When talking about contribution, it is sales minus variable cost. let's take a question wherein variable cost is given, fixed cost is given. Let's say it is 4,400 and 3,900. Further, let's say the selling price of product A and B, let's say it is given 100 and 120. Sorry. Selling price is given, that is 100 kgs were sold at the rate 60 per kg. 100 units were sold at the rate 60 and 120 units were sold at the rate 30. Now we have to distribute the joint cost, that is 8,300. So herein, we'll first distribute the variable cost in the ratio of physical units, that is, variable cost will be distributed in the ratio of physical units, that is 100 is to 120. The physical units are 100 and 120. So variable cost as distributed will be 2,000 and 2,400. Now, when talking about fixed cost, we need to calculate the contribution. When talking about fixed cost, we need to calculate the contribution. So, calculation of contribution. So A and B. My sales value of A is 6,000 and 3,600. Further, the variable cost as distributed is 2,000 and 2,400. So this will be 1,200 and this will be 4,000. So the fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of 40:12. So this will be 3,000 and this will be 9. So 3,900. So this will be 5,000. So this is how this joint cost of 8,300 is to be distributed. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. I repeat again, this contribution margin method is to be applied only when some information is given in the question as regards fixed cost and variable cost. So herein, the information is given in the question. There is a question wherein the variable cost is 4,400. The fixed cost is 3,900. That is, so my joint cost as given is 8,300. Further information is given in the question as regards the units and the selling price. So herein we will first distribute this variable cost 4,400 in the ratio of units, that is 100 is to 120. So I got 2000 and 2400. When talking about fixed cost, the fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of contribution. Now the point is how to calculate contribution. How to calculate contribution? It is sales minus variable cost. So the sale value is 6,000 and 3,600 minus the variable cost as distributed is 2,000 and 2,400. So the contribution what we got is 4,000 and 1,200. So fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of 40 is to 12. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. Yes, any doubts, Arunima, Bhumika? Miss Noor Jamila, Dikshita, Miss Singh Rajiv Kumar, Miss Guduri, Arya, any doubts? Ishan, hopefully your query is resolved. We will not consider the profit element in the previous method, Sudhanshu. Waiting for your queries, guys. Yes, Noor Jamila. The variable cost is to be distributed in the ratio of physical units and fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of contribution. When talking about contribution, it is sales minus variable cost as distributed. So now I request you guys to please copy this part further. Let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'm just giving you 2 minutes time to please copy this explanation. You have to ignore Bhumika. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. We'll be back after 15 minutes and we'll discuss few more points related to this chapter. Thereafter, I'll discuss 1 or 2 questions. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. Welcome back, guys. So there are a few queries. Let me check. Yes, Bhumika, it is after distribution of variable cost in the ratio of physical units. So I want to mention a term that is variable cost as distributed. Further, Ishan, no worries. Wish you good luck, my dear. No worries, Arunima. That's completely okay. Himanshu, yes, this is an assumption wherein the scrap value realized on sale of normal loss is to be deducted from the cost of material. Further, the percentage of completion is irrelevant in respect of abnormal loss, Himanshu. So let's proceed further. So let's proceed further. Now there is one more method. If the question is asking us to apply this method, then we have to apply. That is market value after further processing. So the joint cost can be distributed in the ratio of market value after further processing. They are talking about the market value of double A and double B. So let's say I have manufactured 2000 units of A and 3000 units of B. So let's say these 2000 units can be sold at the rate 20 and these 3000 units can be sold at the rate 100. Now let's say my joint cost is 6,80,000. Let's say my joint cost is 6,80,000. Sorry. Let's say my joint cost is 68,000. Sorry. Let's say my joint cost is 68,000. Now the joint cost can be distributed in the ratio of market value after further processing, that is the market value of final product. So herein my joint cost is 68,000 rupees. That is my joint cost. Now it is to be distributed in this ratio, that is market value after further processing. So that is 40,000 and that for B it is 3 lakh. So this will be 8,000 and this will be 16. If you guys have any doubts, then you guys can please post your query. Krishna, any doubts? I hope you are okay with the calculation, how to calculate. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Now, so these are the few methods what I have discussed. That is market value at split off point, net realizable value method, physical units method. Apart from this, contribution margin method and market value after further processing. Now, when talking about how to solve the question in exams, so follow the instructions that are given in question. If the question is asking you to distribute the joint cost as per net realizable value method, you have to distribute it accordingly. So if the instructions are given in the question that you have to apply so and so method, then you have to follow the instructions that are given in the question. But if the question is silent, then first priority will be market value at split of point. If this value is not available, then we'll apply net realizable value method. If this method cannot be applied, then physical units method. Apart from this, if any information is given in the question as regards fixed cost and variable cost, then contribution margin method will apply. So so the thumb rule is, if instructions are given in the question that you have to follow or you have to apply this method, then you have to follow the instruction. But if the question is silent, this is the best approach you have to follow, as I have discussed. Yes, Noor Jamila. So Vaishali Bindal, I just want to repeat that if the question is mentioning that you have to apply so and so method, then yes, you have to follow the instruction as given in the question. But if the question is silent, the first priority is the market value at split of point. Second is net realizable value method. The third priority is physical units method. Further, if any information is given in the question as regards fixed cost or variable cost, then this method is to be applied. So this is all what about the distribution methods of joint cost. Still, if you guys have any queries, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries now. Yes, Sudhanshu. Yes, Noor Jamila. So this is all what, yes, Darshan, the chapter is very easy. But the questions, to solve the questions, you have to practice a lot. The questions are a bit on the trickier side. But yes, if you try solving 4 to 5 questions, then you'll be able to solve any questions of joint and byproduct. So now, this is all what about how to distribute joint cost. Now let's start with the next part of the chapter, wherein we'll be discussing the treatment of byproduct. So what is the treatment of byproduct in cost accounting? When talking about byproduct, that is an incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacture of main product. So let's say if my main product is sugar. So during the course of manufacture of sugar, let's say if molasses is generated, so it is my byproduct. Another example, let's say I'm the manufacturer of ghee from milk. So milk is my raw material, ghee is my main product. But when talking about byproduct, buttermilk is my byproduct, because this is manufactured during the course of manufacture of ghee. Then net cost is to be taken, Vishali. Now, when byproduct is of small value, when byproduct, the amount realized on sale of byproduct is very small, very nominal. So when the byproduct is of small value, then in that case, the amount realized on sale of byproduct, then amount realized on sale of byproduct can be transferred to costing P&L. Transferred to costing P&L, or there is an alternate treatment possible wherein deduct from joint cost. So when the byproduct is of very small value, that amount, then the amount realized on sale of byproduct, either transfer it to costing P&L or deduct it from the joint cost. Now, when talking about the second part, when the byproduct are of considerable value, अगर हम लोग मार्केट में बाय प्रोडक्ट सेल करने जाते हैं तो द अमाउंट रियलाइज्ड इज, आई मीन इट हैज सम कंसिडरेबल वैल्यू, then in that case no need to treat that byproduct as byproduct. It will be treated like a main product, or we can say the joint product. So treat it as main. Now, so if they are of small value, then amount realized on sale of byproduct either transfer it to costing P&L or deduct from the joint cost. When they are of considerable value, treat it as a main product. But when byproduct requires further processing, when byproduct requires further processing, when byproduct can be further processed before being sold in the market, when byproduct need to be processed further before being sold in the market. Now, so after further processing, again two parts. Byproduct is of small value, and byproduct is of considerable value. If it is of small value, you have to follow this approach, that is either transfer the amount realized on sale of byproduct to costing P&L or deduct from the joint cost. And if it is of considerable value, then treat it as a main product and joint product and then distribute the cost accordingly. So this is all what about treatment of byproduct. I request you guys to please copy this part. I repeat again, when the byproduct is of small value, then amount realized on sale of byproduct, either transfer it to costing P&L or deduct it from the joint cost. Second point, if it is of considerable value, then no need to treat it as byproduct. Treat it as a main product or a joint product. But when byproduct requires further processing, and after further processing, the byproduct is of small value, then this treatment is to be followed. And if it is of considerable value, then this treatment is to be followed. I request you guys to please copy the explanation. I'm waiting for your queries, guys. Yes, Bhumika, Vishali, any doubts? Yes, Arunima. With the value of main product, Miss Mahatia. So now let's start with few questions. I'll be discussing few questions of study material. So I request you guys to please open your study material. I request you guys to please open your study material. I'll be discussing questions, practical questions from study material. So let's start with practical question number 1, page number 11.21. Sir, can you please repeat in which ratio we will distribute byproduct require further processing cost? So see, Bhumika, to be very clear, very precise, if the byproduct is of small value, then no need to distribute the joint cost. Very simple, whatever the amount that is realized on sale of byproduct, reduce it from the joint cost. But if it is of considerable value, then treat that byproduct as a main product and follow the same ways of distribution what I have discussed. So let's start with practical question number 1, page number 11.21. I request you guys to please open your study material. So Smile company produces 2 main products and a byproduct out of the joint process. The ratio of output quantities to input quantities of direct material used in joint process remain consistent on yearly basis. Company has employed the physical volume method to allocate the joint production cost to the main product. The net realizable value of byproduct is used to reduce the joint product cost before the joint costs are allocated to the main product. Details of the company's operation are given in the table below, wherein during the month the company incurred joint production cost of 10 lakh. The main products are not marketable at split off point and thus have to be processed further. Further, the monthly output is given, that is 60,000 and 1,20,000. Further, the output of byproduct is also given, that is 50,000. The selling price is given and further processing cost is also given. Find out the amount of joint product cost that Smile company would allocate to product B by using physical volume method to allocate the joint production cost. So herein, the question has given the instruction, wherein question has clearly mentioned that you have to distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. So काफी useless चीजें question में दी गई है, so you guys have to ignore these points. That is the process cost, that is the process cost, that is the selling price. This information is of no use. We have to simply distribute the joint cost in the ratio of physical units. Further, the question has provided us the information also that whatever the amount that is realized on sale of byproduct is to be reduced from the joint cost. So let's start with practical question number 1, wherein my joint cost is 10 lakh. Further, the amount realized on sale of byproduct. So total 50,000 units were manufactured and they can be sold at the rate 5 rupees per unit. So 50,000 into 5, that is 2,50,000. So the joint cost will be how much? 7,50,000. It is to be distributed among A and B in the ratio of 60:120, or we can say 1:2. So this will be 2,50,000 and this will be 5 lakh rupees. And the question is asked us to calculate that how much cost will be distributed to B. So in short, rupees 5 lakh will be distributed to B. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries, guys. That's great, Roshita. So let's start with practical question number 3 now. Just give me a minute's break. 1 second, guys. So let's start with question number 3, wherein buttery butter is engaged in production of buttermilk, butter and ghee. It purchases processed cream and let it through the process of churning until it separates into buttermilk and butter. For the month of January, the buttery butter purchased 50 kiloliter processed cream at the rate 100 rupees per 1000 ml. That is 100 rupees per 1000 ml. That is 1 kiloliter. 1 kiloliter was purchased at the rate rupees 50. Further, conversion cost of 1 lakh were incurred. Sorry, 1 second. Buttery butter purchased 50 kiloliters. So it is 1 liter cost rupees 100. So actually they purchased 50,000 kiloliters. Sorry, they purchased 50,000 liters of cream and per liter cost is rupees 100. Further, the conversion cost is 1 lakh. Conversion cost of 1 lakh were incurred up to the split off point where 2 sellable products were produced, that is buttermilk and butter. Butter can be further processed. Butter can be further processed into ghee. The January production and sales information is as follow, wherein the without further processing, buttermilk and butter were manufactured, and from butter again it was converted into ghee. So the production quantity was again 28 kiloliter or tons, 20 and 16. Further, the sales quantity is given wherein only buttermilk and ghee was sold. The intermediate product butter was converted into ghee, and the selling price is also given. All 20 tons of butter were further processed at an incremental cost of 1,20,000 to yield 16 kiloliters of ghee. That there were no opening and closing inventory of buttermilk or ghee in the month of January. Show how joint cost would be apportioned between buttermilk and butter under estimated net realizable value method. So you have to apply estimated net realizable value method. So herein, let's understand the process. No worries, Miss Jamila. That's okay. Wish you good luck. Have a great day. So let's understand this process. That is the approach of the question. So it purchases processed cream and approx it purchases 50,000 liters of milk, and the per liter cost is 100. So it purchases 50,000 liters and the cost is 100 rupees per liter. So the total cost is 50 lakh. Further, it is given that the conversion cost is 1 lakh plus the conversion cost is 1 lakh. So my total joint cost is 51 lakh. This is my joint cost. Now herein we are getting two products, that is buttermilk and butter. Further, butter is further processed to manufacture ghee. Butter is further processed to manufacture ghee. When talking about buttermilk, we are getting 28,000 liters of buttermilk and they can be sold at the rate 30 rupees per liter. So when talking about buttermilk, we are getting 28,000 and it can be sold at the rate rupees 30 per liter. Further, when talking about butter, we are getting 20,000 liters and as output. When talking about butter, we are getting 20,000 liters as an output. And further, this butter is processed into the next process wherein the ghee is manufactured. and we are getting 16,000 liters of ghee. The further processing cost that is incurred to convert is 1,20,000 rupees. I'm just writing the question. Further, this ghee can be sold at the rate 480 rupees per liter. So this much information is given in the question, wherein they are purchasing processed cream 50,000 liter at the rate 100 per liter. So total 50 lakh. The conversion cost that is given is 1 lakh. So my joint cost is 51 lakh. They are getting two products, that is buttermilk and butter. When talking about buttermilk, they are getting 28,000 liters of buttermilk that can be sold at the rate 30 rupees. When talking about butter, they are getting 20,000 liters of butter. However, it was further processed and it was converted into ghee, wherein the further processing cost was 1,20,000 in ghee. We are getting is 16,000 liters that can be sold at the rate 480. So this is what the question is now. Now, you have to show how joint cost would be apportioned between buttermilk and butter under estimated net realizable value method. So we have to distribute the cost in the ratio of net realizable value. So let's calculate the net realizable value. So calculation of net realizable value, wherein butter and butter milk. When talking about the selling price, the sales value of ghee is 16,000 liter into 480. That is 76,80,000. Further, when talking about the sales value of buttermilk, it is 28,000 into 30. So this is 84 lakh. Minus further processing cost. My further processing cost is 1,20,000 in case of butter, and no further processing in case of buttermilk. So this is 75 lakh 60,000 and this is 84 lakh. This is my net realizable value. So my joint cost of 51 lakh my joint cost of 51 lakh, that is my joint cost, is to be distributed in the ratio of 75 lakh 60,000 is to 84 lakh. So it is to be distributed in the ratio of 75 lakh is to 84 lakh. One second, guys. I think there is some calculation mistake. 480. This is 8,40,000. Sorry, guys. So the joint cost will be 5,10,000 in this case. $45,90,000 in this case. So this is how this joint cost is to be distributed. Yes, it is 8,40,000. Ms. Guduri, please check the ratio. This is 8,40,000 and this is 75,60,000. And the joint cost as distributed, this is what? This is joint cost as distributed. Further, the question is asking us, this is the first solution. Now, when talking about the second part, the question is saying that Healthy Bones offer to purchase 20 tons of butter in February at the rate rupees 360 per kg or liter. In case Buttery Butter accept this offer, no ghee would be processed in February. Suggest that whether Buttery Butter should accept the offer affecting its operating income or further process butter to make ghee itself. So herein, this company has got an offer wherein there is one vendor, there is one buyer who can purchase this butter directly at the rate rupees 360. So you guys have to evaluate the proposal. So if they accept this offer, how much extra revenue we will get or how much less revenue we'll be getting. So herein, when talking about the revenue part, earlier we were getting a revenue of 76,80,000. Now you will be getting a revenue of 20 tons into 360. That is 72 lakh. So we can say loss of revenue. There is a loss of revenue of how much? Earlier, we were getting 76,80,000 as the revenue on sale of ghee. However, if we sell butter to the buyer, then we'll be getting 72 lakh only. So how much there is a loss of revenue? Sorry, 75 lakh 6. So how much there is loss of revenue? 76 lakh 80 minus 72 lakh. So there is a loss of revenue of 4 lakh 80,000. However, there is saving in cost also, wherein this further processing cost will not be incurred. So net loss of revenue is how much? 3,60,000. It means if we process butter into ghee, we'll get an additional revenue of the 3,60,000. So better not to accept this proposal. I repeat again guys, अगर हम लोग ये proposal accept करते हैं तो हमारा ऑपरेटिंग इनकम जो है वो 3,60,000 से रिड्यूस हो जाएगा. So better to continue manufacturing ghee from butter. If you guys have any queries, then you guys can please post your query. Very good, Rushita. Waiting for your queries, guys. Herein, in this question, if we process ghee, then we will realize an amount of 76,80,000. Further, if we sell butter to that buyer, we'll be getting 72 lakh as revenue. So there is a loss of revenue of 4,80,000. Further, there is a saving in cost because ये cost जो process करने का incur होता था for conversion of butter into ghee. So there will be a saving in cost of 1,20,000. However, still there is a loss of revenue of 3,60,000. So it is advisable to continue processing butter. To continue processing butter to make, to convert it into ghee. So this offer is to be rejected. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Waiting for your queries, guys. Bhumika, Darshan, Arunima, any doubts? Very good, Rushita, Miss Guduri. I request you to please check your answer. Your answer is incorrect. I request you to copy the solution. So when talking about how to approach a question, write the question in this diagrammatic form, wherein the first will be the joint cost. Thereafter, what all products we are getting. If we are further processing the products, then the further processing cost and the value of the final product. So, कई बार क्या होता है कि questions काफी lengthy रहते हैं. So better it is to write the draft of the question in the diagrammatic way. Then you can solve any questions very easily. Any question you can solve it very easily if you have the diagram ready. So the best approach is to write the draft in the diagrammatic way. No, Darshan. This is the way you have to present the solution. So just giving you 2 minutes time. Please copy this part. That I don't have any idea, Kavita. So guys, any question? There is one more session on joint and byproduct wherein I'll be discussing few lengthy questions wherein you guys will understand what's the utility of this chart. So the best approach is whatever that is written in the question, prepare it in a diagrammatic form. That is the joint cost. Thereafter, what all products we are getting, how much quantity we are getting of a particular product. If the selling price is given, then write the selling price. If a product is further processed, then write the further processing cost and the final product, their units and sales value. Once this data is ready, then whatever the examiner asks, you will be able to solve it very easily. So this is the best approach, guys. So enough of discussion on this part. The chapter is over. The concept part are over. There is one more session of joint and byproduct, mostly the coming Sunday. So I'll be discussing few practical questions or past examination questions in that session from today's Tuesday, right? So on Thursday, we'll be starting with a new chapter, that is service costing. A separate session will be kept for the practical questions on joint and byproduct. So that will be intimated to you guys. So thank you so much for your time and patience. The chapter is over. Wish you good luck and try solving few questions of study material or past practice manual. You will be able to solve. So read the question patiently and try solving the questions. Further, I'll be discussing few questions in the coming session on joint and byproduct. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy your day. Thank you.